Imagine yourselves transported to ancient times, when Babylon stood majestic, with its hanging gardens and imposing walls. Among those who lived there was a special man, Daniel, a young Jewish captive brought to a foreign land. In the heart of this grand empire, he served the powerful King Nebuchadnezzar, a monarch who ruled vast territories and numerous cultures. Daniel, with his wisdom and integrity, earned the king's trust, rising quickly in the ranks. When Babylon fell and King Darius of the Medo-Persian Empire took the throne, Daniel remained, now serving under a new regime. Isn't it amazing how he adapted? Picture Babylon, so vibrant, full of life, but also a boiling cauldron of intrigue and disputes. Daniel, with his dignified demeanor and devoted heart, seemed like a beacon of light amidst the darkness. But as in any royal court where there is power, there is also envy and betrayal. His colleagues, seeing Daniel's rise, began to feel the burning flame of jealousy in their hearts. They saw Daniel not just as a foreigner but as a threat. A man of unwavering faith in a world of pagan gods, a symbol of integrity in a sea of corruption. Babylon, with its secrets and shadows, was like a stage where Daniel shone brightly. However, his enemies, lurking in the shadows, plotted, waiting for the right moment to bring him down. They knew they couldn't find faults in his work, as he was meticulous, but Daniel's faith, that could be used against him. Amidst this tension, we can almost hear the whispers in the corridors, feel the weight of sidelong glances. Daniel, oblivious to all this, continued to serve faithfully, his daily prayers a symbol of his unbreakable connection with God. It was as if he had an invisible shield protecting him from the malevolence around him. And thus the plot thickened, like dark clouds heralding an imminent storm. And this storm was just beginning to form, its first drops falling silently but relentlessly. Daniel, unaware, walked towards his destiny, a destiny that would become one of the most inspiring stories of all time. In the pulsating heart of Babylon, where intrigues and ambitions bubbled, a group of officials plotted silently in the shadows. Fueled by jealousy and envy, these men could not bear to see Daniel thrive. To them, Daniel's integrity was a mirror reflecting their own flaws, and thus he had to be destroyed. Imagine these conspirators, gathered in dark corners, their voices whispering like serpents. They knew they couldn't find faults in Daniel's competence, so they decided to exploit his faith. Daniel prayed 3 times a day, unwavering in his devotion to God, and this would be his downfall, they thought. With cunning worthy of the greatest strategists, they approached King Darius. The king, though respecting Daniel, did not perceive the true nature of these men's intentions. With sweet words and exaggerated praise, the conspirators convinced Darius to sign a decree forbidding any subject from praying to any god or man except the king himself, for 30 days. Those who disobeyed would face the lion's den. We can almost see Darius, sitting on his throne, pen in hand, signing the decree without imagining the repercussions. The conspirators, disguising their satisfaction, left the royal presence with a malicious smile. To them, Daniel was now trapped, a rat caught with no escape. All of Babylon was informed of the new law. The decree was read in the public square, proclaimed to the 4 winds, a dark omen of what was to come. Daniel, upon hearing the new order, faced a dilemma. Could he interrupt his prayers to save his life? No, his faith and devotion to God were unwavering. And so, Daniel continued to pray, his windows open towards Jerusalem, as he always did. It was an act of courage and defiance, a true symbol of his unbreakable faith. The conspirators, like vultures, were waiting for the right moment to strike. They found him praying and quickly brought the news to the king. Darius, hearing that Daniel had defied the decree, was distressed. He realized the trap but was bound by his own word. The law of the Medes and Persians was irrevocable. The king tried in every way to find a way to save Daniel, but his efforts were in vain. The conspirators pressed on, demanding that the law be enforced. Daniel, with impressive serenity, was led to the lion's den. The scene was surreal, a man of faith thrown into the midst of beasts because of his devotion. Darius, before sealing the den, said to Daniel, "Your God, whom you continually serve, he will deliver you." It was a desperate hope, a thread of light in the growing darkness. The night fell over Babylon, and with it, an unsettling silence. The lions, hungry and fierce, roared in the den, while Daniel remained serene, his faith stronger than ever. The conspiracy had reached its climax, but the outcome was yet to come. Babylon, under the cloak of night, was silent, except for the echoing roars coming from the lion's den. Daniel, true to his devotion to God, remained undeterred by threats or decrees. As always, he prayed 3 times a day, with his windows open towards Jerusalem. Each prayer was an act of resistance, a symbol of his unwavering faith. The conspirators, having waited patiently, finally got what they wanted. Daniel was found praying and was promptly brought before King Darius. The king, distressed, knew that Daniel had no choice, just as he himself had none. The law of the Medes and Persians was irrevocable. With great regret, Darius ordered that Daniel be thrown into the lion's den. We can imagine the tension in the air, the triumphant expressions of the conspirators, and the worried look on the king's face. Daniel was taken to the den, a dark and frightening place. The massive stone sealing the entrance was removed, revealing the darkness and the gleaming eyes of the lions. Every step Daniel took towards the den was a testament to his trust in God. His enemies expected to see him trembling with fear, but to their surprise, Daniel was serene. He knew he was not alone. Inside the den, the silence was broken only by the heavy breathing of the beasts. Surrounded by hungry lions, Daniel closed his eyes and prayed. The situation seemed desperate, but Daniel remained calm, fully trusting in God. And then, something extraordinary happened. An angel descended and shut the mouths of the lions. The den, which was supposed to be his grave, became a place of miracle. The lions, known for their ferocity, were now calm, as if an invisible force had soothed them. Daniel, feeling the divine presence, remained at peace. The night passed, and darkness gave way to the morning light. King Darius, who had spent the night in agony, rushed to the den at dawn. His heart raced as he called out for Daniel. "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you continually serve, been able to rescue you from the lions?" Daniel's voice echoed from inside the den, firm and serene. "O king, live forever! My God sent his angel and shut the mouths of the lions, so that they did not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight, nor have I done any wrong before you, O king." The relief on King Darius's face was palpable. He ordered that Daniel be immediately removed from the den. Daniel emerged unharmed, without a scratch, a living testament to God's power. The conspirators, who had plotted his downfall, were astonished. They could no longer deny the miracle that had occurred. Thus, the story of Daniel in the lion's den would become a legend, a testament that faith and trust in God can overcome even the most daunting challenges. And as the morning unfolded, the fate of the conspirators was still to be decided, while Daniel remained steadfast, a symbol of courage and devotion. The night seemed endless for King Darius. Troubled, he could not find peace. His thoughts were fixed on the lion's den, where Daniel, his faithful servant, had been thrown. The king fasted and spent the night without sleep, desperately hoping that somehow, Daniel's God might save him. Finally, the first rays of dawn began to appear on the horizon. Darius, with his heart racing, ran to the lion's den. His steps were quick and determined, his mind flooded with hope and fear. Upon reaching the den, he called out, almost breathless, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you continually serve, been able to rescue you from the lions?" The silence that followed was deafening. And then, like a ray of sunshine piercing the darkness, Daniel's voice echoed from within the den. "O king, live forever! My God sent his angel and shut the mouths of the lions, so that they did not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight, nor have I done any wrong before you, O king." The surprise and relief on Darius's face were indescribable. Daniel was alive and unharmed, a living testimony to God's power. Darius immediately ordered the massive stone to be removed and for Daniel to be brought out of the den. When Daniel emerged, there was not a single scratch on his body. It was as if the lions had become tame creatures in the presence of the divine. This miracle was a clear confirmation of Daniel's faith and the power of the God he served. Witnessing this demonstration of divine protection, Darius was deeply moved. He knew that Daniel's God was real and powerful, capable of protecting his servants even in the most desperate situations. The conspirators, who had plotted against Daniel, were stunned. Their malicious plan had spectacularly failed. They could not deny the miracle that had occurred before their eyes. The lion's den, which was meant to be Daniel's end, had become a stage for the manifestation of divine power. In a gesture of justice and recognition of God's power, King Darius ordered that the conspirators be thrown into the lion's den. Unlike Daniel, they received no divine protection and were immediately devoured. King Darius then issued a new decree for the entire kingdom, proclaiming the God of Daniel as the living God, whose deeds and miracles are undeniable. This royal decree was a public testimony to God's power, recognized not only by Daniel but now by the entire empire. The story of Daniel in the lion's den spread, becoming an eternal symbol of faith and divine protection. It served as a powerful reminder that even in the midst of the toughest trials, those who trust in God can find safety and vindication. And so, the morning that began with King Darius's anxiety transformed into a day of revelation and acknowledgement of divine strength. The miracle that saved Daniel became a symbol of hope and faith for all who heard his story, reminding us that divine protection is always present for those who believe. Witnessing the miracle that saved Daniel, King Darius was filled with a mixture of relief and admiration. He understood that Daniel's unwavering faith had been rewarded in an extraordinary way. But now, it was time for justice. Those who had plotted against Daniel, driven by envy and malice, would have to face the consequences of their actions. Darius, with a determined expression, ordered that Daniel's accusers be brought before him. These men, who had once been full of confidence and wicked satisfaction, now trembled with fear. The king did not hesitate. He decreed that the conspirators, along with their families, be thrown into the same lion's den where they had tried to destroy Daniel. As they were led to the den, the atmosphere was charged with tension. The lions, who had remained strangely peaceful in Daniel's presence, showed their true nature as soon as the accusers were thrown in. The roar of the lions and the screams of the condemned echoed, making it clear that divine justice had been carried out inexorably. With this act, justice prevailed, and the message was clear: integrity and faith would always be rewarded, while wickedness and betrayal would be punished. But Darius did not stop there. Moved by the miracle he had witnessed, he decided to do something that would echo throughout the empire. King Darius wrote a new decree, which was proclaimed in all the provinces of the kingdom. In his edict, he declared that everyone should fear and revere the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, who endures forever. Darius emphasized that the God of Daniel is a God who saves and protects his faithful, performing signs and wonders in heaven and on earth, and that he had delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. This royal decree was a public testimony to God's power, recognized not only by Daniel but now by the entire empire. The story of Daniel in the lion's den spread, becoming an eternal symbol of faith and divine protection. It served as a powerful reminder that even in the midst of the most difficult trials, those who trust in God can find safety and vindication. And so, the story of Daniel in the lion's den did not end merely with his miraculous survival but also with a transformation in the heart of a king and in the laws of an empire. Divine justice had been done, and Daniel's faith had triumphed, leaving a legacy of hope and trust for all future generations. Just as Daniel trusted in God at all times, even when he was in the lion's den, facing what seemed like an insurmountable situation with no hope or way out, he maintained unwavering faith. Despite the real threat and imminent danger, Daniel did not succumb to fear or doubt. He placed all his trust in the mighty God and was delivered, rewarded in a way that defied all human expectations. Similarly, you can demonstrate your faith in moments when perhaps only you are aware of your struggle, your problem, your pain. It is precisely in these times, when everything seems hopeless, that God is waiting for you. He wants to see your sincere heart, to see you bow before Him, trusting completely, surrendering to His hands, and waiting upon Him. When you do this, When you put your faith into action, you will see that He is God. He is always by your side, ready to lift you up, to be your true friend, to help you overcome all difficulties and trials. No matter the size of the challenge, or how difficult the situation seems, never lose heart. Always put God first in your life, trust Him with all your heart, and you will see everything turn out well. Nothing evil will ever have more power than Him. God is greater than any problem, any fear, or any challenge you might face. He is the God who saves, who protects, who turns darkness into light. And when you place your trust in Him, when you walk with Him, you will be more than a conqueror. For with God, you are never alone. He is your refuge, your fortress, and your guaranteed victory. Therefore, do not give up. Stay steadfast in faith, knowing that God is in control of everything. And remember, where there is faith, where there is trust in God, there is always a way out, a solution, a victory. Remain firm, trust, and you will see miracles happen in your life. God is faithful, and He never fails. He is with you, and with Him, you will always be more than a conqueror.